Really powerful about learning about constructionism and the practice of constructionism is putting the power back in students' hands. I taught, like, all of my students were students of color, and I think it was really powerful to, like, powerful in a bad way, to, like, tell them, like, I know what's best as someone who doesn't look like you. I know how you should learn. This is the stuff and the way you should be. And I think learning about constructionism made me rethink my thinking of how to empower students, to allow them to decide what they're going to learn, what they're interested in, how are they going to pursue that as maybe a research-based question or a project or innovation-based question, and allow them to see themselves as knowledge constructors and content creators and not look to some other force or person as a legitimizer of who they are and what they're interested in. I took T550. I started working on a design thinking and digital literacy curriculum for a college access program in New York that I used to work for as a college student. And the college access program also had a very similar no excuses mentality where, like, we were trying to get students ahead by, like, making sure that they were getting ahead academically, but not necessarily supporting them holistically and, like, encouraging them to ask deep questions or, like, pursue their own interests and, like, kind of imagine in a radical way. Having taken this course, I went back to the people who were in charge of the college access program and said, what if we, like, instilled design thinking into the curriculum where, like, you constantly need to think about iteration, getting feedback, improving your product, and also internalizing the idea that your product or project will never be done, that there's always something you can do to improve it or tweak it or make it better or get more feedback on, as a way of almost teaching growth mindset. I wrote this curriculum that was heavily based on Scratch, but allowed students to sort of self-express, like, using Scratch, creating a lot of different games or, like, self-ethnographies or music projects, like, basically whatever they wanted. Like, I wasn't telling them what to create. And at the end of the summer, I was able to go back and look at their projects and just see, one, how much their thinking around failure changed. So, like, a lot of kids started by saying, I don't know how to use Scratch, I don't, like, this is really hard, I'm, like, struggling with it for hours at a time, but nothing's coming out. And for them to, like, present projects and be like, this is, like, draft one of my final project, but I had, like, 10 initial drafts, and, like, I will keep working on this final project, but what I was trying to go for here was X, Y, and Z based on my interest in A, B, and C, and that was really powerful to have them just, like, sort of say, like, I've kind of, like, learned over the summer not to think of my learning as ever being complete, and I'm okay with presenting something that's incomplete. I think is, like, leaps and bounds from where they began, which was like, what do you mean we're gonna do whatever you want? Like, what do you want us to do if we do whatever we want? And so that was really awesome to see in action.